This is the first time that we are doing this show in China, and we're getting great responses from all of our potential customers, our partners, and so on. And I think it's been really good. The company's strategy is that we're now moving downstream into different international markets, and China is one of the largest markets, probably the largest market in the next 4 or 5 years. We are seeing each year the growth in terms of the solar installed capacity is between 10 to 12 gigawatt per year. You just cannot find any other countries that can compete with that. It is a complex market, many driving forces, but we are positive and we are quietly confident that our strategy looking into China, supporting China's wants and needs in developing a low carbon economy. We believe we've got the right strategy to support that. And with this massive market, we are very positive in what we are doing. This is slightly different from a couple years ago. Now in China, all the key energy policies are in place. The feed-in tariff are in place. So, we all sense that this is the period of time that the growth would be really strong, and we're here for that. First Solar initially started off as one of the best thin-film manufacturers and the lower cost manufacturers. And these few years, we've actually seen quite a lot of changes in terms of manufacturing. So, and moving downstreams is, we are, if not the first company, one of the first companies that moved downstreams. And it is very important that we cover the entire value chain because the rent in each part of the value chain actually changes. And it's important to be able to kind of ahead of the curve and capture that. But that would require a lot of cultural changes, the new talents into the companies, and also the understanding of, how do you put different parts together, the manufacturing part, the development part, the EPC part, and the O&M part, and so on. The China market has changed substantially 20 years ago to now, from the investment just for investment to investment for what they call the green investment. China no longer require foreign capital per se, but they want to have technology. They want the best technology to come in. China right now has got the most energy options in the world, from coal conversion to the latest renewables and the latest generation of nuclear power engineering and so on. So I think what we've done in R&D and what our achievement in R&D would significantly supporting us in developing the Chinese market. And also our China strategy that we have here may be slightly different from other non-Chinese companies. We don't just look at what we want to do as a First Solar company. Obviously, every listed company's got their value creation, shareholder value creation, but first of all, we actually look into what does the Chinese government's wants and needs. We list down sustainable economic development, environmental sustainability, energy security, balancing of different regions, equality, of the wages and wealth and so on. So from that block of wants and needs, we look into what do our shareholders want, how do we get access to the market, so we develop a set of what we call the value proposition, which is really in support of what China as a country's wants and needs. And I think that is very important to get that. If eventually, as we develop that, if we do not find any intersection that these two wants, two different sets of wants and needs matches, then it's not much point for us to be here because we won't be able to find any sustainable solution. But obviously the reason that we are here is we found that intersection. My own responsibility is China, Mongolia, and Taiwan. But as a company, we are certainly interested in other regions as well. And I give you a few examples. Obviously, in the Middle East, for example, the sun is clear, and then In the Middle East, a lot of the oil exporting countries are burning hydrocarbon for the power generation. Saudi Arabia, for example, currently they burn 1/3 of that oil for their own power generation. And with the growth potential, the other social spending, if they don't do something else, by 2020, they will burn half of their hydrocarbon production for power generation. So that's got to be something, some better alternative, and solar would play a key role in there. Similar dynamics would also be in other countries in that region. India, for example, you have over 1 billion people with very low energy consumption, and a lot of those energy are also provided by liquid hydrocarbons. So therefore, you also have a very exciting market. For example, South America, Chile got one of the highest installation in the world. And again, if they want to develop their economy further and to displace some of the liquid fuel hydrocarbons, off-grid regions, for example, where the power grid doesn't reach because of the hilly topography, solar power generation is definitely a good alternative. And I can name a few more, like Australia, Indonesia, and Japan in Asia, a very attractive market for us as well.